When we look at card activity across the Westpac system, we are seeing a very clear weakening following the Delta lockdown in New South Wales and periodic lockdowns across the other states. But we haven't fallen to the extreme lows that we saw through the very heavy lockdown in April, May last year, and of course the Victorian second wave lockdown through August. And so that's giving us at least some comfort that the consumer to date is holding up reasonably well in New South Wales. We are seeing a very strong take-up of online activity that looks to be cushioning some of the slowdown in some sectors. And so far, there's more resilience than we might have expected. It's still a long way to go, and I think the restrictions themselves have yet to fully play out in the consumer space. But so far, the Westpac card tracker is probably bearing up a little bit better than we would have feared. And we still expect the economy nationally to contract in the quarter, but the card activity is something we'll continue to watch closely. I think one thing to really highlight over the last 3 weeks in New South Wales, in terms of the card activity, we've seen an enormous pickup in online activity. And if we look at the 5 subcategories that have seen really big shifts, in the case of department stores, it's about 80%. In the case of electrical and electronics, it's about 85%. So this is within New South Wales alone. If you compare that with pre-lockdown, that's about double. 40% would have been the par a few months ago for department stores, for example. Discount stores, only 13% of sales were online. Now it's 50%. So we've seen, I think, a very clear, a much bigger adaptation this time around, particularly compared to April, May last year. But I think now, a year and a bit on, they're much better geared to meet their demands through these other channels. The problem is that confidence and adaptation only gets you so far. In the end, that the scale of the shock depends on how long we have to endure hard and fast restrictions on our activity that make it us unable to spend on certain areas.